I found a trading card on the ground last Monday. It was in remarkably good condition for having fallen on the rainy sidewalk who knows how long ago. It didn't even seem wet. So, of course I picked it up and slid it into my notebook to keep it safe, and then promptly forgot about it as I ran to catch my bus to go about the rest of my day. At this point, I can't even recall what the card looked like. It was the standard size, 2.5 inches by 3.5, unchanged in 7 decades of trading card history, and had this slick, garishly colored artwork on the face of it, and some sort of brief story on the back. But I do remember it was fascinating. In just a paragraph of text, I was riveted. I read it over and over and over again on Tuesday, hoping to pull out more and more insight onto where its characters were going, because that was always the trouble with these story-driven sets. Each card is only a small glimpse of a much larger narrative that really only comes into focus after you've taken the time and effort to collect the hundreds of individual fragments and align them all into the correct sequence, in the correct order. The rest of my Monday wasn't notable. The standard flow of random faceless people with largely the same questions, requiring mostly the same answers, until finally I was allowed to leave the building again. Back to the bus, back to my apartment, unpacking my empty lunch container and various other bits under the counter, until out slipped the card again, fluttering to the floor under the kitchen table. I stooped to pick it up, and there on the tile I really looked at it this time. It was oddly glowing in the shadow of my cheap furniture. Maybe it had some sort of chrome gloss coating. I know printing technology has come a long way since I was a kid, filling up binders with baseball and comic cards, but it looked good, natural even, for a slip of cardboard to glow in the dark. I wish I could remember what it looked like. It was definitely an action scene. Lots of purples and reds, and a green squiggly logo in the corner for a brand. I didn't recognize it. No other logos like Topps or Fleer or Upper Deck, and it didn't look like it was a game either. No stats. And that story. I picked it up again, getting off the floor and taking it to the couch. I looked at the trading card database up online and spent an hour or 3 poking around various set listings trying to figure out what I was holding, but I didn't really get anywhere with it. Until finally, I put down my tablet and I laid back, flipped the card over and found myself absorbed in the text. Who were these people? I woke up Wednesday morning, crusty and relieved that I didn't have to go into work that day. Hopefully no one was trying to get a hold of me because my phone was dead. I stretched, contorted, and stood up to plug the thing in when the previous day suddenly clicked into my memory. Where did that card go? Forgetting about the phone, I looked around the room. Tossing pillows and books for almost 20 minutes turned up nothing. I shifted the couch, looked under the bookcase, but the room wasn't that big. The card was just gone. Pangs of anxiety had fully taken over at this point. I didn't even know what I had, and I'd already let it slip out of my control. I needed air, I thought, and the rain had stopped, so I went out. Soon I found myself retracing my steps on Monday, to the spot where I'd first found the thing. I must have subconsciously thought that maybe it would be there again, or that there might be others dropped nearby that I wasn't paying enough attention to see before, the way a desperate brain associates memory with expectations. There wasn't, but I stood there on that piece of sidewalk for at least 10 minutes anyway, just hoping to catch something out of the corner of my eye, until finally reason regained a hold on my brain, and having not eaten anything yet that day, I stumbled into the Wendy's around the corner. After ordering, I waited, annoyed at myself for not plugging in my phone overnight. My mind drifted back again over the previous day. What was I even doing? It's not like I was chasing after a Pokemon card or something with actual value. Probably. Now I'll never know. I got my order and drifted over to the corner of the dining area to stare out the window while I ate my fries, wishing again that I had my phone, wondering why I kept obsessing over this silly mystery object, and more importantly, where it came from and where it'd gone. More french fries. I stared out into the parking lot. What a stupid way to spend a day off. A truck pulled into the drive-through lane and a small slip glinted and fluttered off the back bumper as it pulled through the window around the corner. I stuffed the rest of my fries in my mouth and went outside to investigate. It was another card. Different than before, more red, with the same green squiggly logo that tickled in my memory. I picked it up and ran around the building, but that truck was long gone. I stared down at my prize and turned to walk home. This card I remember more clearly. The back contained another story fragment, number 87. I tried, but I couldn't remember the number on the first one that I found. I think it focused on a different character too, but things were already going fuzzy. It was the same world though, so much brighter than mine, more violent and focused. I felt wistful? As soon as I got back home, Card number 87 went immediately into the old binder of X-Files cards that I had hanging around since I was a kid. Its saturated color stood out even more next to the rows of darkly shadowed faces of fluke men and federal agents. Finally plugging in my phone, I realized that it was already late afternoon somehow. I'd also missed some calls, but not from any number I recognized. Waiting for the phone to charge a little more before following up on that, I looked again at the binder with my new treasure. It had 3 faces on the front, one larger than the other 2, but all 3 looking very similar, like brothers or sisters, something like that. And the artwork had this interesting dew-tone effect made up of wet, bloody red dot gradient over a field of bold yellow. The only other color was the green squiggle that seemed to be embossed in the corner, a seal of authenticity in its way, making the card real. The back I think explained who the faces were, but before I had a chance to read it, my phone buzzed. Shattered silence caused my brain to drop the binder, and I groped for where I'd left my phone. "Yes?" I muttered. There were sounds on the other end, but nothing that I could properly make out, and some sort of music like a Danny Elfman score. "What?"
The cards. The cards. The cards.
It repeated over the music,
You need them.
and the line went dead. And I did. It's complicated. But one thing led to another. My apartment caught on fire, and now I'm living in another state, far, far away from any seller or distributor of non-sport trading cards and/or collectibles. Which honestly isn't that hard these days, provided that one puts a browser lock on eBay. The urges never went away, though. The sense of emptiness and unfulfillment that I thought I could fill by solving an unsolvable mystery. But life doesn't allow for that. There will always be another incomplete collection, another undoable task or unfindable chase card. Being adult is learning how to get over all that and find contentment with incomplete stories and holes. And also, following proper fire safety protocols in the home and workplace is super important. So with that knowledge, we hope that you have a happy Trading Cards for Grown-Ups Day from all of us at Fear20.net.
Don't forget to join the Fear 20 Discord. We've got memes, streams, and most importantly, screams.